Well, hello family, friends, and YouTube. Today is February 7th, and I'm getting ready to go on a little bit of a trip so I can test out this new windshield further and test out the comforts of this seat. So I'm going to go for not a super long ride, but I think I'm going to go from Clarksville to Nashville and maybe a little bit beyond and back non-stop, just to see what it feels like to do long distance riding on here. Let's see, I'm getting ready to go up here, and it's going to be mostly highway riding, so I don't believe videoing this all the way is going to be that much entertaining. So what I'm going to do here is I want to show you where we're at. We are sitting at 69 degrees out here. I think it's more like 65, and 115 miles. So that's where we stand at the moment. And like I said, I'm going to go for a long distance because I want to see the comfort of the bike over an extended period of time. If you remember, I just put the new windshield on yesterday. We'll see how that does as far as air goes. And put down the parking brake. I was reminded that it's called a parking brake, not an emergency brake. I guess that's just terminology depending on where you're from. But I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to get out here and I'm going to get on the interstate I-24, and I'm going to head towards Nashville or beyond, and then back non-stop, just so I can see what it's like for a tour. So nothing dramatic, so I'll catch you on the other side. I'm back. I decided to cut in as I'm going into Nashville, simply to show you a little bit of aggressive driving, because now we're going to be in survival mode. As you can see, there's the skyline of Nashville, Tennessee. Not the skyline that everybody tries to show you from famous pictures and all that. This is what it really looks like. And so far, so good. The ride has been fairly pleasant. I've got to learn how to change the channels on the radio while in motion. I mean, it goes to presets, but I've got to learn how to do all that. But right now, I'm just focusing on being comfortable, riding long distances. And then, of course, you know, it is 140 something in Nashville traffic. Shouldn't be too bad at this time of day, but you never know. So I'm going to go to the other side of Nashville before I turn around and start heading back. But so far, the new shield I put in yesterday, the windshield, show chrome windshield, has been exceptional. I truly like it. I didn't get really any wind. You can barely feel any on the tips of your shoulders. One of the viewers asked me about the other parts of a wind, and you know, hands, legs. I mean, I'm really not feeling much of nothing on the hands, and I typically cruise. So far, I've been cruising at roughly 80 miles an hour, and my hands are fine. You can feel the wind on your shins. And I assume that if you were riding in really cold weather, you might experience some bumpy road. You might experience some cool, but overall, wind's not my issue. I'm here in Nashville, and it's not bad. It was a pleasant drive so far. Again, the goal is not to get off the bike. The goal is to see a nice long ride. I want to do, if possible, I want to do 2 hours to start off with, 2 hours on the bike. I prefer not to do 2 hours in a traffic jam, but 2 hours on the bike is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to cut away here, and I will come back to you when I'm on the either the other side of Nashville or heading back the other way. So let's break away for now. Here, let me close the visor. I'll jump back in to show you Nashville off to the right. And then one of the structures that I consider the most famous structure in the world. I'm sure many of you will disagree, but there's Nissan Stadium. That's where the Tennessee Titans play. And there's the Batman building and all that in the skyline. That's what we call it here in Nashville, the Batman building. It's actually AT&T. This is Nashville, and this is what it looks like in the afternoon. And this ain't even rush hour traffic, but I just thought I couldn't resist cutting in for you football fans just to show you where the Tennessee Titans are. I'm sure I'll get a bunch of Tennessee Titan hate. I get it, I understand, but let me go ahead and pop out of here, and I'll come back in when it's meaningful. Well, welcome back. And as you can see, I'm at mile marker 111. Now, I don't know how it is where you're at, but in Tennessee, the mile markers are equal to the exits. So when I left the gas station, I was at exit 11, so I'm now at exit 111, so that's 100 miles. And I haven't got off the bike, haven't stopped for any reason. And since I've driven this far, I thought to myself, why not come out here and go to a location that I haven't been to in many years, since I'm already here. For those of you not familiar with Tennessee, we are not far in this location, not far from the Bonnaroo. For those that are familiar with that annual event, happens every year. They have all kind of concerts and everything. Well, that's right here, Manchester, Tennessee. And yes, I am a little bit outside of where I had planned to go. So I'm going to go up the road for about 25 minutes and visit a location that I want to show my family mostly, but I'll share it with you. So for now, let me cut away until I get to that location. I'm in Tullahoma, Tennessee. It's basically home to the Tennessee Corrections Academy. And I thought that since I have already driven this far, without stopping of course, why not just swing by my old stomping ground where I used to be the superintendent back in 2013. So I decided I'm just going to come up here for my family, so my family can see where I used to work. Now, Academy's not all that big. It's been around forever. A long time ago, it used to be a women's dormitory for female juveniles. And then it was turned into the Tennessee Correction Academy. It's a very nice structured place, but I just decided that I wanted to show my family where I had worked back then. And of course, this is Tullahoma. It's a small town, and the academy is right up here to the right. And I will just do a real quick entry and exit. If you're still able to enter and exit the front part, I will do a quick entry just to show my family what it was like. I remember living out here This is small town, people. This is small town Tennessee. This is what we have. Literally hundreds of these small towns. This one just happens to be the location of the academy. And I guess during my tenure, I had graduated, well over 1,500 correctional officers during my tenure here. Endless numbers of in-service training. But in your right, this right up here to your right, you'll see this open field, everything on the other side of this school bus. That is the start of the academy property, and right here where you see this fence, this is the start of the academy property. And right here is the entrance where this car is coming out of, and this is where I have spent through my career many years going to and from this location for in-service training. As you can see, the structures of these buildings, how old they are. That was the superintendent of the academy I just waved to. Of course, no one recognizes me right now. I'm in helmet and gear. I'm just going to ride around the campus. But not much has changed. Not much changed at all since I was here. I didn't have these speed bumps here. But this here takes you to the back. We're just going around the road. This is where the parking lots and stuff are located for students. Back here in the back is the firing range, the armory, things of that nature. And I don't see anything. Well, didn't split that speed bump like I intended. Alright, over there to straight ahead you can see some trainees on the gun range. And do not enter sign, but there's no this is always used to be the enter and exit, so I'm not 100%. They've changed it to a one-way, so I guess I'll turn around and go the other way. Now, for those of you wondering, those white fenced areas right there, right in front of me, those are the designated smoking areas. I had 2 of those built when I was a superintendent, simply to keep people out of the street. I did not want correctional officers smoking off property outside of the road in uniform. I didn't want it for the image that it projected, and I also didn't want it for the safety issue. I didn't want mainly females standing out on the side of the road late at night smoking cigarettes with traffic going by. So I had that one back there and this one right here, these 2 smoking areas built, which that right there got me put on the news as a bad guy, of a person supporting cancer and however else they wanted to spin it. You know how the news media works. They wanted to project me as the villain, and they even went so far as to have the news crew, because we wouldn't let them on the property, they even went so far as to have a helicopter fly overhead to take footage of the smoking areas. But that was something back then. I was amazed how somebody could take somebody doing something for the safety of others and turn it into somehow into a negative, where somebody was supporting smoking and was against cancer cures and all this. But that is the Tennessee Correction Academy, and nothing has changed. And over there, that small building where that white car is, that used to be my office. Show Should be paying attention to these speed bumps instead of riding around like that. But anyway, I'm going to go back onto the main road, and I will catch you when I'm heading back. Okay, we're back again, and I'm getting ready to get back on the interstate, and going to head to Nashville. Well, basically going to head to Murfreesboro, Nashville, and then Clarksville. As you can see the mileage, I'm at 245 miles. Pretty much came straight out. Now I'm getting ready to go straight back. I'm not going to bore you with the travel details on the interstate, but I do want to let you know that so far I have not gotten off the bike. I have stayed on the bike the whole time. I have not stopped, other than the red light or so. I haven't got off and walked or nothing. So I am at exit 111, which is 111. I'm going to exit 11, so that's 100 miles I'm about to travel now on top of what I just did. And so far I can say that the ride has been extremely pleasant. I enjoy it so far. I'll give you a review when I wrap this up, when I'm back in Clarksville. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Well, as you can see, I'm coming back through Nashville at 4:19, which is, of course, rush hour. I'm not really sure when rush hour is not, but those of you in much larger cities, this is probably nothing for you. And for those of you that own a DCT, I'm here to tell you this is nothing for you either, because I have never felt so good in traffic jams as not having to squeeze in the clutch 85,000 times. As you can see, I'm up there on the back side of Nashville, getting ready to pass through it, and we are, of course, in traffic. But I will show you down here at my gauge. As I'll show you down here at my gauge, my fuel light has come on. I have 305 miles, and it says I've got 23 miles before I need to fill up, and it's flashing. I'm not going to risk that, so I will have to do my very first stop since leaving exit 11. I will have to do my very first stop, and I think I'm going to take the other side around Nashville. Instead of going that way, which I normally go 24 that way to Clarksville, I guess I'll go the back way, because as you can see, that way is backed up. But I thought I would just jump in here real quick to let you know that I will have to stop for some fuel shortly. So I'm not going to be able to do a complete run all the way like I did. I wanted to get fuel this morning or this afternoon, and then drive straight back and get fuel at the same location and show you what it was like. So I can just tell you what it was like so far. It's been extremely comfortable. I have had nothing to complain about so far on this trip, although this is just a mileage trip and a distance trip, just to see what it would feel like to ride long distance. My first trip, or long trip, on this Gold Wing, and I'll tell you, it's very comfortable. The windshield that I purchased, put on yesterday, the show chrome windshield, is a lifesaver. That's a must-have. I'm gonna say I had to get the windshield. I wouldn't have went on this little trip today. Temperature, of course, I know we're in February. It's February 7th, and believe it or not, the temperature says 72 out here, but let's go with like 68, something in that area. But this is very nice. I'll probably still pop in towards when I get closer to Clarksville. But unfortunately I will have to do at least one stop before getting back to the original destination, or my original takeoff point, which was exit 11 in Clarksville. I'm on this side, I'm on the Broadway and all that. For those of you not familiar with Nashville, that's where everything happens at. That's the big part of Nashville. But I'm going to get off here right now. I got to get some fuel, and then I will pop back in when I get closer to Clarksville. Right now I'm going to be sitting in traffic for just a little bit. I'll be back. Well, I finished getting gas, and now I'm getting ready to get off on Clarksville Pike, and I'm technically still in Nashville. I'm on the back end of it. And I guess since it's getting dark and I have this ND filter on the camera and I didn't bring any other lens with me, I figured I will wrap up this video with my assessment. I can say the Honda Gold Wing is definitely a winner. This is definitely the most comfortable ride and most comfortable bike I have ever been on. Granted, if you're looking at my fuel economy and all that, it wasn't the greatest, but I don't blame that on the bike yet, because I was maintaining 75 to 80 miles an hour, mostly interstate riding, until I got to Tullahoma. And at Tullahoma and Manchester and Tullahoma, I stopped 2 lights, went around the academy as you saw, and then came out and stopped for gas just a little bit ago. So other than that, I've been on the road since this afternoon, haven't stopped, and pleasantly surprised with this ride. This was a great ride. Right, I guess as you can tell, it has gotten dark. I have an ND filter on here, so I didn't bring any other ones, so you're going to have a dark look. Let me just give you a quick assessment. This is by far the smoothest ride I have ever ridden on a motorcycle. I did the distance because I wanted to be able to talk about it later, so that I would have the experience. The windshield, the show chrome windshield, is a must-have. That made all the difference in the world. That's what allowed me to get out here on this long trip. Well, not super long, but long enough to get a taste. As you down here, you'll see that I have 333 miles on it, and this was a good little jaunt. I left, it's 5:16. I forgot what time I left, but I've been in the saddle for at least 4 hours or better, and I stopped 2 times at a red light and 1 time to get fuel. Had no choice. Overall, comfort is great. Wind protection is great. Those that were asking about the wind protection on your legs and stuff, yeah, you get a little wind on your legs, but you're riding a motorcycle. That's to be expected. Overall, I can't wait for my other helmet to come in, and I got to learn how to change radio stations on the fly. That was one thing that I did notice that I was unable to do. I need to read the book. And anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up. Again, it's going to look very dark out, darker than it actually is, simply because of the ND filter I put on this afternoon. I didn't plan on getting back so late, but I put some miles in, I put some road time in, so I can talk about it in the future. And right now I can tell you that this Gold Wing is the real deal. So until next time, thanks for watching.